All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. Live in 5. Ooh. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. Live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. Live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Take a moment to join me in prayer. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one. Creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness. He who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to guide, protect, and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Rahor abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. Welcome back, Wayfarer, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, Wildcat alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Frank Monday coming at you from Twilight Zone, Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall. So please do forgive me if there are any internet problems deep within the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking. Coming at you once again like Finnegan, so if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen. You and me, if it's your first time Wayfarer, don't let it be your last time. Hit the like and subscribe. Do all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. We'll go ahead and roll that Frank Monday intro one time. I hope you enjoy it. Those old Frank Monday productions coming at ya.
Okay guys, our next comedian is a bit of a treat, to be honest. It is a bit of a treat. He's been away for 3 years. He is now back from the dead. Well, America. Give a big round of applause for Frank Monday. Did anyone want to repeat that?
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that shit. tough in a fucking city like this, though. You know, nobody gives a fuck. They're like, God damn, that's some crazy shit. Motherfucker wearing high heels and shit. Looking good, too, huh? Yeah, you guys like that. That's all right. It's okay to fall down occasionally. I do that sometimes. All right, being back in the Jing is pretty fucking nerve-wracking. You know, performing for 4 minutes straight. The only other time I get this anxious when I gotta perform for 4 minutes straight is when I gotta make love to my wife.
Onion ring. Yeah, they're all right.
Hey, be watching for the Star Wars blog Rebellion coming out in December. You'll love it. It's follow-up to the award-winning Generations. Oh yeah. There you go, Frank.
Here's my burger. All right, all right, all right. There it is there. Frank Monday coming at you once again like Finnegan. Rocking out, y'all. Hope you're doing well this evening. Thanksgiving coming up. Next couple of days, guys. Get with it. What are you grateful for, right? Thanksgiving is the idea of having gratitude. Yeah. And expressing what you're grateful for. So one of the second commandments in the 5 things you should do each morning is start off with the idea that you choose to be positive. You might use an affirmation like me. Today, I choose to express the highest divine positive productivity in my life. Positive divine positivity. Number 2, I am grateful for all that I have. I'm extremely grateful for all that I've been blessed with. I am certainly capable of achieving the great work. I embrace every challenge that comes my way as an opportunity for growth and development. I am taking those small actions towards my goals every day, one step at a time. So I'd like to know what y'all good-looking sexy people out in Happy Land are grateful for, right? Put it in the chat box down below. Let old Frank Monday know. One thing I'm grateful for is TMI, The Machine Lies. It's good magic, man. If you guys haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. Here's the blurb for The Machine Lies.
The lies of the machine on the machine that lies. Basically, on the stream, The Machine Lies, we're taking a very critical look at technology. So the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the medium that is used to communicate, right, and transmit information, right? We don't think that any form of mediation is neutral, right, but it's laden with values. And so I think that the well has been polluted by technology. So obviously we take a critical look at technology, right? We're looking at different concepts in relation to technology, right? In terms of philosophy, right? And in terms of religion. Now that is one of the main purposes of the show, is that we really look at where technology and religion, science, and spirituality, where those things intersect, right? Because there's a crisis of the modern world in which there's a majority of the modern world is religious people. Their mindset is secular, and the means they employ are secular. We're living in a post-liberal, post-human, post-geological age, right? So we're talking about the death of liberalism, the rise of the world technological system. Now, we do think that, okay, there's a considerable level of, externalization of the ego, okay, and mediation of ourselves through the means we employ. So obviously, we shape tools, but the tools we use shape us, right? So that's one of the main things we're trying to get across on the show, is how technology changes human psychology. If you question the means you employ and what the objective factors of power are in our age, right, then that's the most important question you can ask. Right, that's the most critical stance you could actually take, right? Like, most people don't question, how or what means they use to question, to ask the question itself, right? So we're actually taking a critical look at technology, right, as a primary form of communication, as an objective factor of power in our age, right? And we think that basically we're assuming that a lot of the stuff that we see through this medium is totally made up, right, fabricated, and that is based on the fact that it is artifice. It's produced by a machine, right? So we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies.
All right. Yes, indeed. TML, guys, check him out. The Machine Lies. That's a pretty good blurb right there. I edited that for your pleasure and edification. So if you needed to know, and I think you do need to know, then definitely sub up on the Machine Lies 9534 here on YouTube. Get it done. All right, y'all good looking sex people. Next, we're going to let Israel Ragardi guide us through the invocation of a Tahuti. So I'm going to have to kill that background music so that there's plenty of room to enjoy a little transmission by Israel Ragardi. And we'll switch over the banner on the bottom there. The prophet of our Aeon, Howard Phillips Lovecraft, once quipped, "No new horror can be more terrible than the daily torture of the commonplace." And so here we are once again, like Finnegan on a Monday, Frank Monday coming at you like a sharuka straight out the desert. With no further ado, Israel Ragardi.
Invocation of Thoth. Procul, o procul esti profani, or lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ivy's head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dusk, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who accompany the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance wherein Ptah floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise up flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Kefra, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a guard sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the vast one may be obedient unto me.
So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. All right, good magic. That was Israel Regardi, Sir Francis Israel Regardi, Master Magician of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, leading us through the Invocation of Tahuti. I remind you, Wayfarer, check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Pull something in the tip jar. That keeps the lead in the pencil, guys. I hope you're all doing well out there in Happy Land. And before we begin our readings for the evening, we're going to go with one of Dweller of the Dark's wonderful songs here on YouTube. Let's see if we've got the banner for that. Give me just a second, guys. This is a 2-minute song, really quick, and I will check the chitter chatter box and say hello to everybody's out there in Happy Land.
Eagles flying high, cats on the prowl, devils in your bed, their whispers so loud, witches on my heels, so they'll steal, running in the dark, truth they conceal, blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Hounds howl at night, shadows in the light, fear in every breath, eyes wide with fright. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think.
That was Dweller of the Dark with God Can't Help the Dead. Let's see if we can adjust this lighting to make it a little more appealing. Definitely check him out here on the old YouTube, guys. Give him a like. Subscribe his channel. He's got lots of good fiction readings, mostly. No nonfiction. I don't think he's done any nonfiction. But this is going to be an evening of nonfiction, like I advertised. We're going to be getting into the old I and Thou by Martin Buber. It's been a week. It's been a bit of a spell since last we endeavored to read from the book. We left off somewhere in the first part, I believe. See if I can't find it here. Let me get a little bit of that background music back on there, so I don't kill any of the transmission with dead air. Greetings, real to real. Good magic to you, sir. Fools and tools. Good to see you. Much love. Ricardo Sunshine. Blessings. Thank you for stopping by, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I do encourage you to hit the old cold goose. Isn't that what they used to call it? If you stuck a thumb up someone's bum, it was called goosing them. Eek and do. Let's see how far we got into this. Yeah, there's my marker. So I left the old bookmark in there, and it looks like we got about to page 60, 5960. So if you're keeping along with your copy of I and Thou, the newfangled edition, right? Newly transliterated with prologue and notes by Walter Kaufmann, then publishing in whenever. Charles Scribner's New York is who published it. That's interesting. The Scribners, huh? Not familiar with those cats, but that's okay. This one is coming to us from, I believe, 70s. I might be wrong about that. 1970. Exactly right. The updated version, copyright 1970. So just a little over 55 years. Is that correct? 30 and 25. Yeah, 55 years into it. Same age as me almost, though I'm 72. So I'm a little younger than this book. Not by a lot, but I am younger nonetheless. If you had been keeping up with the past readings, then you kind of got a little bit of a feel for what we're getting into here. I will recall to the best of my memory, right? Active recall. The I and Thou is a bit of a philosophical approach to relationships presented by Martin Buber. It's kind of a collection of wisdom. He born in Vienna 1878, so a little over 100 years ago, 103rd, was a professor of philosophy at Hebrew University in Jerusalem in the it says 38 to 51, so in the 1940s. Good stuff. I guess he was there going through World War II, right? And the Walter Kaufmann, the guy who brought it up to date in 1970, he said that it should be better translated to I and you. So basically me and you, or you and I, right? And it's the idea that whenever you engage in direct human intercourse, as it were, right? Titillating word there. Then the reflection in the individual with whom you speak is the voice of God somehow, right? And it's up to the individual receiver, the person engaging in said conversation, to acknowledge and respect, decode, as it were, that voice of God coming to you from the other. So I and thou. And he's bringing God really into the relationship between people. So it's not just you and me. It's I and thou, thou who were, thou who is, and thou who shall be. All right, the ever-present, immortal, timeless one. And when you deal with each relationship like that, then it takes on a whole new level of meaning for everyone involved. You don't tell them, obviously, right? It's to dare to know, to will, and then to be silent. That's the riddle of the Sphinx, right? You've got to dare. That's the fire, the plasma charge. Yod, hey, Vav, hey. So the Yod comes into the mind, the divine spark of God, and you dare, right? And then to know, or to will, to dare to will to know. Yeah. With the next part of the equation, the hay is the water, the liquid charge, right? And that's the will, I think, to know. The knowing is the air element, the vowel as it comes down, right? That's to know. And then to be silent, that's the earth element at the bottom. So the true manifestation of the tetragrammaton, its riddle is the riddle of the Sphinx. To dare, to will, to know, and to be silent. And you can put it in any order you like. I mean, you can put the elements into their celestial chronology. And so then from starting in the east, it would be to know, to dare, to will, and to be silent, right? If you're circumambulating the Seal of Solomon and getting ready for big magic. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm happy that I'm able to be with you this evening, Wayfarer. Whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you're receiving this transmission, I do remind you to honor Thanksgiving and let me know what you are thankful for at this time. We're going to kind of lay back a little bit and get into some reading from page 60 of I and Thou. When I confront a human being as you and speak the basic word set, I, you, to him. If you remember, we had these polarized word sets. So we had this, it, that, this kind of thing. I, you him, or you, her, right? So every time you have a polarized dualistic manifestation in this realm, then they appear in polar opposites. Mother, father, boy, girl, up, down, left, right, in, out, all of it, right? That's the basic equation that we're stuck between heaven and earth as humanity, the connecting element of the two. We bridge the gap, right? We touch the earth with our feet and our head sticks up into heaven. And so we're the polarizing equilibrium of the creative process of the interaction of heaven and earth. So that's the I, you he's talking about. You speak the basic word set, I, you, to him, then he is no thing among things, nor does he consist of things. Oh God, to meander in the abstract. What a thing. We're just, what are we, one sentence in. So we're one sentence in on the first of what is a paragraph, what it looks like five to seven paragraphs long, 5, 6, 7, yeah. And it's one section in his transliteration. I can tell that he's transliterating or bringing forward, elucidating, right, earlier sources. This last few days, I've been digging into Ecclesiastes, one of King Solomon's books, or at least attributed to King Solomon. And it seems somehow legit, right? It starts off with the son of the king of Israel, David. And so that may or may not be indicative of its authorship. But I immediately recognized that a good percentage of the so-called wisdom contained therein. And if you saw my post from earlier in the day, I had reposted a post by Agrippa's diary. And in that post, let me pull it up for direct reference so I can see it. Well, I guess I could, I guess I could go ahead and share it with you directly, Wayfarer. All you good-looking, sexy people out there in happy land. Let's see, I gotta share screen and make sure that I'm not oversharing. Select a window, which goes entire screen. This thing doesn't let me select windows. Like an entire list of the windows should come up, but it never does. Yeah. And then we'll pop it in there. Make sure it's centered and oriented correctly. Yeah, should be good. And then here it is here. Yeah, so I had been digging into a little research on Ecclesiastes because that's where one of my favorite all-time quotes comes from, and I got some deeper understanding into it. But if you recall, so there's a nice graphic, a painting of Edward Kelly in front of Queen Victoria, and he was, if you know, he was a magician to the court of Victoria, I believe in like late 1700s. So at the end of the 18th century, if I'm correct. Might have been a little earlier. Might have been 16th century. Let's see here. But yeah, he gives a really good, concise summation of what we're dealing with here, right? Sorcery has been called magic, but magic is wisdom. And there is no wisdom in sorcery. And so this comes to us from Paracelsus, right? And I thought about that. You know, a lot of people try to vilify King David, King Solomon, Moses, and even Jesus. I mean, for Christ's sake, look, he was crucified for his practice of magic. And how many witches have been burned at the stake for the misunderstood idea of sorcery? Certainly, if they're engaged in sorcery and the worship of devils and demons, then maybe they need to be put to the stake and burned alive. But no, that's not what they were engaged in. Magic is wisdom. And so Ecclesiastes, being the direct transmission, supposedly, of King Solomon's wisdom, then this too is magic. And that's what your beloved magician, Frank Monday, engages in. Not sorcery, not witchcraft, but magic. In the modern world, we often confuse these two terms. We view sorcery, witchcraft, black magic simply as a dark aesthetic, and magic in itself, without a K especially, right? Stage magic and fantasy, as just that. Phantasmal, right? But the occultists understood them as two distinct modes of operating in reality. And if you saw Dr. Puka's wonderful transmission on how magic works, I think she gives about 5 different paradigms on the efficaciousness of magic and why it's simply self-so, right? It's sui generis. It absolutely is indisputable. It does, in fact, work. I firmly assert this. It says here, sorcery is an attempt to force the world to bend to your ego. It is an act of domination. Make sure we're still transmitting. We doing all right out there in Happy Land? Everybody doing good? Let's see here. All right, yeah, we'll get right back into the text for a moment, guys. Sorcery is an attempt to force the world to bend to your ego. It is an act of domination, a violent imposition of the personal will against the current of nature. There's no wisdom in it because it isolates the sorcerer from the very source of power, of the power they seek. A little bit of a grammatical blunder there on his part. Magic, and it should be spelled with a K. That's the accepted spelling these days. Is wisdom. It's the art of understanding the hidden currents of nature and aligning your sails with them. Wind in your sails, wind in your sails. When a miracle occurs, it is rarely a violation of nature. It is simply the operation of a higher law that the uninitiated do not yet understand or comprehend. So the lesson is to regain your magic. You do not need to learn to command the elements. You must learn to listen to them. Nature holds the key. The magician is simply the one who knows how to turn it. To turn it what? To turn it to his, to turn it in his direction, in his favor, in the favor of himself and all those around him, really. They've got an Exoteric Codex newsletter, finally here. Here's what you get. The Garden of Wisdom, the Alchemy Key, the Visual Study, so on and so forth. Read it for free here on Patreon, guys. So I just wanted to get into that first little part, right? Everyone has an interpolation, and if it can serve you, then take it. If it doesn't, then leave it aside. Wow, these guys had some grand eloquence of garments here, huh? So nice. What a way to live. I mean, think of all those velvets and silks and leather and just damn. Them some good looking threads right there. Homies knew how to dress. I heard that those Victorian bustiers, though, those things were deadly, man. Women get those squeezed too tight, they could wind up suffocating. How funny, huh? Sad. All right, yeah, so let's get back into it. Let me see, I gotta drop this somehow. Why is it doing that? Get out of there. All right. And yeah, welcome back. So just one paragraph in so far. When I confront another human being, then I confront the reflection of God himself, right? There's no thing among things, nor does he consist of things. He just is that reflection which is in the mirror, in the dark mirror. 'Tis I, 'tis you, friend. 'Tis all of us. The all singing, all dancing stuff of God. He is no longer a he or she or limited by other he's and she's, a dot in the world of the grid of space and time, nor a condition that can be experienced and described, a loose bundle of named qualities, neighborless and seamless. He is you and fills the firmament. Not as if there were nothing but he, but everything else lives in his sight. Even as a melody is not composed of tones, nor a verse of words, nor a statue of lines, one must pull and tear to turn a unity into a multiplicity. So it is with the human being to whom I say you. I can abstract from him the color of his hair, or the color of his speech, or the color of his graciousness. I have to do this again and again, but immediately he is no longer you. Right? He's those qualities with which I define him by, those sets of categorical associations. I think this is why E-prime language is so important, right? To attempt to eliminate the fixed condition of the verb is or to be, right? To get a little more malleable in that and a little more distinct and nuanced in your discourse. How you engage in the interlocution, the intercourse of interlocution, right? And even as prayer is not in time by time in prayer, the sacrifice not in space, but space in the sacrifice. And whoever reverses the relation annuls the reality. And even as prayer is not in time, but time is in prayer. Ooh, that's powerful, right? So when you pray, you're not praying and filling time. You're creating time through prayer, right? The vibratory formula being brought into manifestation. It's a powerful thing right there. I do not find the human being to whom I say you in any sometime and somewhere. I can place him there and have to do this again and again, but immediately he becomes a he or a she and an it, and no longer remains my you. Yeah, that's good. That's good, eloquent poetry. What are we dealing with here? We're dealing with the kind of poetic prose that is trying to lead us in the direction of a long form koan, really, right? Like a riddle that breaks through the distinction, right, of that fixated point, the analog fixation, and then sets you into kind of the digital abeyance. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, Ricardo Sunshine. Good looking out. My big words. You're too kind, sir. You humble me. You humble me with your compliment. As long as the firmament of the you is spread over me, the tempests of causality cower at my heels, and the whirl of doom congeals. Ooh, there's a nice footnote for the word doom here. And let me get my reading glasses out for this one. He says, Verbogness means, so it's a German word, and has been consistently translated as Schicksal, or the German word for fate. Your doom. Destiny, I guess. Fate. There's an interesting splitting of hairs, right? Destiny and fate, right? One's passive, one's active. Yeah, so fate would be more of like it happens to you, and destiny would be something more that you do it within the world, right? The human being to whom I say you, I do not experience, but I stand in relation to him in the sacred basic word. Only when I step out of this do I experience him again. Experiences remoteness from you. The relation can obtain even if the human being to whom I say you does not hear it in his experience. That seems like that should be offset by commas. The relationship can obtain in his experience would be the complete sentence. That seems like a subordinate affectation there in the middle. Even if the human being to whom I say it does not hear it. Oh yeah, that's good. That makes sense. I like that. Right. And I think that falls in line with what I said a moment ago, that we should basically be silent about what we're up to as far as magic goes. You does more, and more happens to it than it knows. No deception reaches this far. Here is the cradle of actual life. Yeah, it's good to be reminded of that no deception can actually reach that far. Yeah. That like truth stands self-so on its own and of its own and needs no explanation. People get involved in battling over beliefs and paradigms, worldviews, tunnel vision, and describing the elephant, right? Everyone knows the famous koan of three blind men trying to figure out what an elephant looks like. Are you guys familiar with this one? If you're not, then I'll recant it for you. I'll recite it for you. It's the least I can do. Three blind men are trying to describe an elephant. One's back by the tail, another's on the side of it, and one's got the trunk. And so the guy at the tail starts off right at the end of the thing, and he's like, "Oh, it's long and hairy. It's like a rope or a snake, and like a rope, yeah, like a swinging rope." And then the guy on the side, he's rubbing it down, and he's like, "No, it's wide and tall and heaving. It's like a giant living wall." And these guys are fighting about it. And then the third guy gets in, and he's rubbing the trunk, and he's like, "No, it's long and coiled and undulating, and it's like the neck of a giraffe or something." I don't whatever. You guys get the idea. And this is the way of the world, right? The way of man, to engage in intellectual dichotomy that's just a dog chasing its tail, and to go in endless circles and loops, which ultimately lead to nowhere. And that's the thing I was really deriving from Ecclesiastes. It's like, hey, they say, write a book, get busy and write a book, make some YouTube videos. And I've always been apprehensive of, number one, even speaking in public, right? Because people constantly endeavor to lampoon you, no matter what you say. You can't make everyone happy all the time. Good luck if you can make anyone happy some of the time, right? It seems like we're getting a lot of blackouts on my live stream. Are we still live, guys? Because my screen keeps blanking out on me. Let me check the YouTube feedback loop. Let's see if it's working. Or give me 5x5s in the chat box, guys, if you're still out there in Happy Land. Yeah, no feedback loop. Hope my sound quality's okay. Hope you liked the video. We're already about an hour into it, guys. If anybody's it looks like it's probably okay. Let me see how that sounds. Yeah, looks like it's probably okay. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can almost see that, huh? It's like polychromatic, like looking at a silver foil trading card. It's very nice. I look quite young there. That was only a few days ago, right? Had a bit of stubble, a little bit of a different haircut. Yeah, good magic. I can appreciate it. Nobody should ever have to look at their ugly mug in the mirror, right? Yeah, so we're getting into I and Thou, guys, right? I and Thou. once again, by Martin Buber. So we're reading Booby's book, and I'm wishing all of you a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. I don't know. It seems like the Canadians celebrated at a different time of year than the Americans. I've dropped the link in the chat since we're at the 1 hour mark. If anybody wants to join me and go through some of this Martin Buber philosophical banter, then feel free to do that, to hit the link. Ricardo Sunshine is here, of course. Good to see you, Hermano. I hope you are doing well. Real to real, possibly. Still in chat, and Fools and Tools. And anyone and everyone, feel free to step up and get into the philosophical banter of those ideas which should hopefully propel us forward, right? In a way that's life-sustaining. We'll do another paragraph, and get rid of the distraction on the screen. Possibly we've got the banner, and I'll remind everyone to sub if you're hearing this later. Wanderer, Wayfarer, Wizard, Warrior, Wildcat alike. Yeah, so here was my basic motto. I adopted this motto from the Tao Te Ching when I was probably 16 or 17 years old. And I thought, good God, how to endeavor to do this, right? To take a vow of silence. And I think it was like the third year after my father passed from this world, I did it. I went 1 year. I mean, I had to talk sometimes, but I never talked. I didn't engage in any sort of like unnecessary conversation. It was only very, very short, simple commands, maybe thank yous if they were absolutely called for, hellos and goodbyes, and very little else. And I even told my family, I said, I'd show them the note, because I was already well into my vow of silence by the time I, crossed paths with my mom, my sister, my brother, or whatever. And I would just kind of explain to them, I'm very, very serious about this. And I noticed that I was able to pass through like an entire year of the world with like accumulating great power, great mental fortitude, physical well-being. I mean, talking is it's a shit game. It burns up so much energy, and it's such a futile endeavor. But then I after my university and then like getting into work and stuff, a decade later or whatever, I got into academia, where it feels like, and for a long time, especially like the first 10, 15 years of my teaching career, you have to talk a lot, right? Because that's what you are. You're basically, as an English teacher in China, a lot of times you'll take the role of spoken teacher. So you have to let them hear the vibratorial formula of the authentic language, right, of the American people, which is a great language. But yeah, getting away from those words for a while, man, those that helps out a lot. And here's the next one. Invoke often, inflame yourself with prayer. Drop a couple of these windows, guys. There's a lot of buildup in the backstage. Okay, let's do another paragraph then, guys. Me and you, let me oh my God, the garish light of day, right? Helps with reading. Okay, so we are at page 61 now. This is the eternal origin of art, that a human being confronts a form that wants to become a work through him. Not a figment of his soul, but something appears to the soul and demands the soul's creative power. Yeah, I was able to achieve that today. I met with one of my colleagues, and I was just giving him direct reflective feedback without any prompting, just the prompting of his own spirit. And he's like, wow, why are you so full of power and energy? And I said, I'm just stealing it from you. I'm transmitting it, And I knew this was happening without even reading this right now. Reading this is just confirmation of my day today. right? What is required is a deed that man does with his whole being. If he commits it and speaks with his being, the basic word to the form that appears, then the creative power is released and the work comes into being. Yeah, that's so awesome. Like, I was doing that big magic today. I swear to God, I met with a colleague who sits in his private chambers off times and has like the entire command of like an entire floor of the school with very individual, the head of the art department. I'll just go ahead and say it. But I only take the long walk to go over there a couple of times a month and visit with him. But when I do, like the energetic exchange just lights up like a fucking Christmas tree, like, the grand finale going off on the 4th of July, and I'm able to transmit his spirit through me into direct manifestation so that he can see, a direct reflection of like that constructive creative energy that powers the universe. And he detected it immediately, like after just a short interaction of me showing up and basic greetings, hey, how's it going, this kind of thing, and then starting to talk about a little bit about the environment and reflecting on the power of living, the true power of life, the living, breathing word of God. Yeah, so that was good magic. That was really, really, really nice. And it's confirmation to myself too that it's no small thing that we're doing here, friends, right? When we're leveling up and engaging in the great work, doing good magic. It's a thing that works. The deed involves a sacrifice and a risk. Yeah, you have to let go of the self, the ego, and then let the other to fill the space. And then there's a risk in that you have to break down inhibitions and be completely truthful to the expression. Like no holds barred, right? Pull, no punches. Just let the direct word of God manifest through you. The sacrifice, he says, is infinite possibility is surrendered on the altar of the form. All that but a moment ago floated playfully through one's perspective has to be exterminated. None of it may penetrate into the work. The exclusiveness of such a confrontation demands this. So that's what he says the sacrifice is. Yeah, that's the connection point in the ether. As the ether travels along the copper coil, the reflected light, across its medium, then as soon as it is manifest and makes the transition point, right, the jumping over, the arc, then that's what's happening. Here's the risk. The basic word can only be spoken with one's whole being. Whoever commits himself may not hold back any part of himself, and the work does not permit me, as a tree or man might, to seek relaxation in the it world. It is imperious. If I do not serve it properly, it breaks, or it breaks me. Wow, we got three more paragraphs after this, but let's break that down a bit. This is truly such, like, I can see the immortal, eternal reflection and light emanating from the other, the I and thou, the thou that I approach in the world, in the mystic moment. And any time I seek to impose any type of worldly guile or manipulation on that expression, or even to give into the fears and inhibitions inherent within myself, then that glow, that glossiness, that mystic moment of the Tao, where you can grasp the intangible, see the invisible, and hear the inaudible, right? In the grokking moment of the thing, it'll shatter like a broken mirror. That's why I call in my my introduction, my basic introduction, in the description box of all my videos, right, that this is going up from the depths of the Fathomless Cavern, through the Spectral Abodes of the Underdark, through the chamber of endless echoes and the labyrinth of shattered mirrors. So it's this labyrinth that you're negotiating, and let's see if bit of a delay on my laptop, guys. I hope we're still 10-4 on the transmission quality. Yeah, and so when you put that id or person intent into whatever that thing is in a form of manipulative assertion of your own, not your own, but like this arbitrary willing, or violate someone else's, sovereignty or sanctity, then it shatters that glow. It shatters the mirror of the timeless homeland. Yeah. Shattering the dark mirror. And then you wind up in a dichotomy of the thing, not the thing itself. Yeah. I hope you guys can follow that. I think I'm giving some fairly decent elucidation on this. Let's continue. The form that confronts me, I cannot experience nor describe. I can only actualize it. And yet I see it. And I can tell you of encountering it. Like I'm telling you about right now, right? Encountering one of those beloved souls that will allow for you to and will allow for God to be channeled directly through them as an exchange, right? You initiate the interaction, and then the responsiveness, the reciprocity is completely unperturbed, like a pristine stream in a high mountain setting. Yeah, unperturbed. Where did we leave off? Splendor of the confrontation far more clearly. Okay. The form that confronts me, I cannot experience nor describe. I can only actualize it. And yet I see it, radiant in the splendor of the confrontation, far more clearly than all clarity of the experienced world. Yeah, it's realer than real. Anybody who encounters it knows that it's realer than real. Not as a thing among the internal things, not as a figment of the imagination, but as what is present, tested for its objectivity. The form is not there at all, but what can equal its presence? And it is an actual relation. It acts on me as I act on it. See, it's the it you thing he's talking about in the thou or the other, in this high magic interaction, right? Such work is creation. Inventing is finding. Forming is discovery. As I actualize, I uncover. I lead the form across into the world of it. Ooh, I did that too. You guys don't know. I would continue the metaphorical anecdote, but I fear that it might diverge from the direct transmission of what he's got going on here. The created work is a thing among things and can be experienced and described as an aggregate of qualities, but the receptive beholder may be boldly confronted now and again. But the receptive beholder may be bodily confronted now and again. There's a couple of footnotes here, guys, that I skipped over. Here he refers to the beholder as dem shaunaden, dem shauna, shaunen, shun or shaun. It's a way of looking at that in this book. I'm sorry, that's a German word there, so my pronunciation might not be spot on. But the Schauen is a way of looking that in this book is not associated with experiencing, with objects, with it. It has generally been translated as to behold rather than beholder. But the receptive beheld may be bodily confronted now and again. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like that's why in Taoism we call it the mystic moment. It's when all the work you've done, all the relentless days of study and toil and push-ups and fist repetitions, right, over and over again, same fist forms, trying to knock it out and get it to flow through the whole body. When it becomes manifest, those things are like 1 in 10,000. And so certainly there are things that grow easily in life, but there are certain skills that require 3 to 6 months to achieve a very, very incipient or coet type of understanding and manifestation of. Others take 3 or 4 years. Something like, for example, the practice of the violin and getting worthwhile and listening to might take you an entire decade, right? Obviously, young people, they have the time and energy to put into it. They're usually disciplined by their instructors and parents and stuff, their forebears, to do those things and derive. And some have natural talent and get extremely good at it. Martial arts, for example, takes a minimum of 30 years to really achieve the body, mind, spirit coordination that can manifest direct energy, like the 2-inch, the 2-inch punch and the demok, or being able to touch a point and kill an aggressor, right? Or disable an aggressor. Obviously, if you have even the slightest bit of understanding, you'll work to preserve life even in combat, right? And that's a very important thing. Wow, my screen blanked out. I'm not sure that I'm even still connected. Hopefully we are. So Ecclesiastes, again, I was reading through it, due to its authorship being attributed to King Solomon. And I believe it's an Old Testament book, right? Not very long either. I think if I recall correctly, it's only about 12 chapters long, and not all the chapters are very long. Very similar style of writing here. And I think this might be a transliteration and bringing forward of even older wisdom. But I noticed that the vast majority of the writings, I can directly translate it into Chinese ideas that predate much of it. And so I see again this kind of dissemination of the ancient wisdom coming out from the Central Kingdom, right? From the Shang dynasty and on into the early dynasties, the Yuan, Ming, Tang, and so on and so forth. And a lot of these being either shoulder to shoulder with or predecessors to much of this biblical wisdom that we see. And I think even one of the upshots of the example of Chinese wisdom is that it doesn't come with a lot of the overtly religious baggage that is associated with in many people's minds who are pursuant to theology. And that's not necessarily saying anything about the absolute of it, right? That's not true for everyone, but there are a good deal of folks who are overpowered by the dogma in the study of the doctrine, and as a result, they engage in idolatry too, right? They hold this thing above all others and say this is the ultimate absolute source of the creative energy, of God, as it were. And it's like, no, that could never be true, because that is a form of idolatry, and that goes directly against his commandments. Yeah, so good fun and good magic, and I'm glad that I'm taking a look at it in a perspective that takes some risk, but it breaks through a lot of the boundaries that many modern day mainstream Christians adopt, which can be debilitating in your spiritual growth. Let's get into the next bit of this thing here, guys and gals, and everybody watching. Page 61 still, he says, what then does one experience of you? Nothing at all, for one does not experience it. What then does one know of the you? Oh, and I think it would be worth your effort to look at maybe the original printing or PDF, because let's see, for example, some of the capitalization, since this is based on German originally, you'll see a lot of odd capitalization, which I think is somehow important and was definitely more prevalent in like King James Version type English. And many of the scholars who were conversant in German and French, and so like 100 years ago, many of these guys were far men of letters and learned men were far superior to the average individual today, especially the average ethnocentric, xenophobic type that's never really strived to make themselves a bit more cosmopolitan. And hopefully I no longer fall into that category, but you know, it is what it is. The basket of deplorables, as the great beast would say. Okay, so that's as far as we got with that. And then we're only everything. For what then does one know of the you? Only everything. For one no longer knows particulars. The you encounters me by grace. Grace of God, eh? It cannot be found by seeking, but that I speak the basic word duo to it is a deed of my whole being, is my essential deed. So again, bridging the gap, the arc, the spark, and touching on the quintessence. The you encounters me, but I enter into a direct relationship to it. Thus, the relationship is election and electing, passive and active at once. Yeah, so he's breaking down the false dichotomy here, right? And showing you the balance of the yin-yang symbol, right? The Taiji, as it were. The passive and active at once apparent, right? So holding the mind in abeyance and observing the phenomena directly. An action of the whole must be approached. An action of the whole must approach passivity, for it does away with all partial actions, and thus with any sense of action, which always depends on limited exertions. And again, this is direct reference to the Tao Te Ching, that as an individual human being, we cannot range over endless affairs by means of limited energy. And that's all of us have. And that's the kind of letting go they speak of, right? Giving it up to God, letting the God force be in command. The basic word I-U can be spoken only with one's whole being. The concentration and fusion into a whole being can never be accomplished by me or you, can never be accomplished without me, can never be accomplished by me, and can never be accomplished without me. I require a you to become an I. I say you. All actual life is an encounter. Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff, man. I think that's a huge part of why that's one of the things I look for in the feedback window of interacting with you guys here on BoobTube, right? Like if I don't see some of the feedback in the chitter chatter box and nobody comes up here and banters back and forth with me, then there is no reflection of God within the conversation. It's just some fucking guy jerking himself off online, you know? And that's no kind of fun. Nobody wants to see that or be a part of that, really, right? So it has to be a cooperative effort. It has to be co-creation. That doesn't mean you have to be engaged all the time in the dialectic between you and I and thou. And it doesn't always have to be live, you know, and transmitted via B grade fucking FM radio television here on the internet, right? And think about how easily that manifested for us in this generation. We saw black and white televisions and colored televisions, if you're anything, you know, close to my age. And we thought, why shouldn't all of us be able to transmit, you know, just as easily as whoever was on the TV at that time, and be heard by at least a limited audience? And ham radio operators, they set it up and started doing it, and then it just kind of rolled from there. And now everybody these days can jump on, you know, fire up a dark mirror and interact with the greater collective of the world. Whether or not you get feedback, that's another thing, right? Who's going to hit the fucking like button and subscribe? Very few folks. We're approaching the 1,000 mark, though, and I thank you, Wayfarer, if you're receiving this transmission now or at a future time, or even in the past. Many of you are in the past now, whereas Frank Monday dwells and abides in the future. But yeah, we've been hard at it for over an hour, and I opened up and dropped the link, so I'll go ahead and start rolling into the abodes of the future, and sign off with a prayer, do another song maybe while I take a short intermission here. Let's see, we've got an intermission banner. I think it says something like a short 2 to 3 minute break. They're the middle-aged ladies are playing the music down in the courtyard right now. They're taking a musical break, and they're out there shaking their ass and walking around, which is good fun. That's kind of one of the things in China you Westerners will never really experience, is the courtyard dancing and social activities that they get up to here. They've got quite a few of them, and they're good fun. You know, it's like, it's something that I guess it's communism. I guess that's what you'd call it, right? Like true communism with distinctly Chinese aspects of capitalism playing out in the form of a KTV speaker box out in the courtyard, while people get out there and socialize and dance and shake their money maker and have a good fun. Yeah, I'll give you guys a little bit of Dweller of the Dark, and I'll take a short break. Then I'll come back and see if anybody wants to join me, and if not, then now we're gonna call it a night. And yeah, so ooh, did I load the wrong video? It looks like I did. Give me a second, guys. 2 3 minute break here, a little musical break. Load up a Dweller of the Dark. That's the only thing I know I can use without getting a copyright strike or paying someone else money. And one day Dweller of the Dark will go famous, and then his copyrights will start to generate some good magic for him. Then I think this one's pretty good. Let's see if that'll open. All right.
Down into despair, wanting my heart, wanting my soul still, till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill, taking they take, never get their fill. In the night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devils down in Judas Mill won't ever break free from her thrill. Under sky Devil's down in Judas Mill, wanting my heart, wanting my soul still, till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill, take and they take, never get their fill. In the night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devil's down in Judas Mill, won't ever break free from her thrill. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies.
All right. That was Dweller of the Dark. What it was, it Devil's Down at Judas Mill. I'm not exactly sure how he names all his songs, but if you're out there, Dweller of the Dark, good magic, good looking out. Appreciate you stopping by, hitting the thumbs up, doing all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algobots bark like Pavlov's dog. And remember, Wayfarer, if you've got a yen to expand your ken, then don't be afraid to get zen with old Frank Monday here on FM radio. Coming at you once again like Finnegan. Make sure you guys hit those like buttons. Get yourself a box, a 5-pound box of wishy-washy dish soap, and keep them barking like Pavlov's dog. You can get a 20% discount on the wishy-washy dish soap over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a something in the tip jar, and you will get sent a 20% discount coupon for the 5-pound box of wishy-washy dish soap directly to your email. And you can pick up a box at Thompson's 5 and Dime. Wishy-washy, cleanest dish soap in the business. Comes with a complimentary wishy-washy dishcloth. So make sure you check it out. Keep your balls squeaky clean with wishy-washy. Best dish soap in the business. Yeah, and you can find out more at frankmonday.com. I'm just messing around. Yeah, we had some good fun here this evening. We're at about $1.25 right now, and so that's a little long for Frank Monday to monologue. We do have a wonderful message here from Real to Real. Good to see you, time traveler, the Atlantean Lemurian time traveler. Manifesting again and again throughout time and space and bringing forth the wisdom of the ancients into our realm, a leader and a sage among men. Yeah, thank you for being here. Good to see you again, man. Long time no see. But you have left comments recently and stopped by from time to time, as time allows. So good magic there, right? The whole world is drawn to him that hath the likeness of the Tao. Men flock unto him and suffer no ill, but gain repose, find peace, and enjoy all ease. And that's the type of men that we need to turn ourselves into when we deal with the I and thou equation, right? So eloquently stated. Not sure if you're sourcing that or quoting that, or if that's just straight out of your heart, man, but that is fucking awesome. Pure goodness, pure truth, true facts right there, amigo. Hermano. Idaho or Idaho, or is it Utah? Idaho and Utah. Let's see. Utah, is Utah West Coast and Idaho? Idaho's East Coast, Utah's West Coast, right? I always get those two confused for some reason. So I believe it would, in fact, be Utah. Wow, someone's trying to sign in on my Apple ID is requested. It's being requested to sign into an iPad near Beijing. Ooh, that sounds like my son is up. Maybe I should send him that message so he knows what's going on. Ooh, my phone's not turned on either, so that's weird. Arsan-san Chisla-chi. Arsan-san Chisla-chi. Give me a second, guys. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. I had to. Oh, that's from Crowley's translation of the Tao Te Ching. Wow, interesting. Very good. Good magic. I've got that. In fact, among the books I've got with me right now are Crowley's Tao Te Ching, Crowley's Book of Thoth, his tarot book, which I've mysteriously noticed. I don't think it includes anything but a brief mention to the major arcana, which I never noticed before. I've also got a small red copy of his Book of the Law. I have a copy of 777, Magic Without Tears, and I think I have one other Crowley work in this apartment with me. I might be wrong though. That might be it right there. Liber 157 is the title of the work. Yeah, I've got his Liber Resh, obviously. Of course, I've got all the digital works by Crowley. Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head, Mr. Alamin? Did you speak to the dead? So good, man. Ozzy did such a tribute to Mr. Crowley. Ozzy knew what was up, man. He was engaged in some powerful magic, old Ozzy Osbourne. What a thing, huh? What a beautiful creature that visited us in this plane. The muses and those who let the muses speak through them, you know, the Bowies, the Michael Jackson, Elton John, all these various muses of our epoch, so far superior to the great coming of the AI and like what do they call that? The auto harmony or whatever. We actually lived in an era where that great beauty was being generated and transmitted, not within the chamber of echoes and the labyrinth of shattered mirrors, but through direct experiential engagement in the thing, which to some extent that's still happening a little bit. But, you know, you got to have money and time to attend symphonic displays of the ancient greats. They're making it more and more rare. Ricardo says, I hit the link, but my phone screen suffered a fatal fall. Oh, sad. I'm sorry to hear it. Good magic, though, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, there's no pressure. No pressure to join the show. It's hard to continue because, you know, it's like you pick and choose content, the daily news, more wise sayings, from the ancient wise guys, this, that, or the other thing, and continue the banter. And it's like, nah, not without other living, breathing human beings. Otherwise, there's no reason to go too far afield. And so, with that said, I will thank you all for stopping by and saying hello. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving. Come back after the video stops and leave a comment. Tell me what you're grateful for on this great Thanksgiving time. Do check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Money. Pull something in the tip jar. I will recite to you the invocation of total integration to sign off the show. It takes a couple of minutes. And then I will head off into the abodes of the future. And love, light, and peace to all of you out there in Happy Land. Let me clean up the screen a little bit. And there it is there. Invocation of total integration, guys. Say it along with me if you know it. It's from Universal Society of the Integral Way by Master Ni Hua Ching. Started in Santa Monica, California. It's actually started in Malibu with Mark Matthews was the guy who brought Master Ni over from Taiwan originally, back in the mid-60s. So here it is here. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the three sources, our three Dantian, bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the 8 directions can join our being with the true origin of life by the absolute order of the divine Ling Bao in the highest 9th heaven. Send the positive energies of Qianluo, Dana, Dunkan, and Tai Xuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. This order is given by the highest sovereignty, Adonai. A jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, or Satan, is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The chi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Yeah, good magic. Thank you for stopping by, Wayfarer. Real to Real, Ricardo Sunshine, etc. Let's see, there's some other folks. Fools and Tools. Good to see all of you. Many blessings, 1,000 blessings, may 1,000,000 blessings rain upon you and yours and embrace you and surround you. May auspicious clouds welcome you as you travel about in your daily life. And may the Chi of Tao forever sustain you in your creative endeavor in this world and the worlds beyond. Many blessings, beloved. A happy Thanksgiving to you. Carpe diem, get out there and carve the turkey and make magic happen, man. Ad astra per aspera. Until next time, your friend and well-wisher, Frank Monday, signing off.